Hello and welcome to Jewish TV Media. The topic for today's discussion is Simcha, joy. You know, there's a misconception amongst many people who think that Jews and happiness don't go together. Many years ago, something like 20, 30 years ago, I was still a young man then, I was asked to go to an ashram over here in Sydney, Australia, Oxford Street, one of the major thoroughfares of Sydney. There was a cult, it's called the Bagnish, Orange people. Unfortunately, a lot of Jewish people ended up there. The yogi, the guru, was a pretty happy kind of guy. Not of great morals from a Jewish or even normal perspective, but a very, very happy guy. And he attracted all of these Jewish people. My job was to be able to try to reach out to the Jews and see if I can make some kind of connection. And one of the things I remember is that they all said, you know, we left Judaism because when we came into the synagogue and we saw people in front of their siddurim, in front of their prayer books, everyone looked so serious. Everyone looked so sad. We couldn't relate to it. And I thought to myself, how unfortunate it is that they had such a misimpression of what being Jewish is all about. And would they've only seen a little bit of happiness, joy, liveliness in the Jewish people around them, perhaps I wouldn't have to be there that day to try to convince them to come out of the cult, deprogram them, and bring them back to their Jewish roots. The truth of the matter is that Judaism emphasizes simcha. King David says, Ibdu et Hashem b'simcha, serve God with joy. We're told in the Torah that even if you keep all the mitzvot, but you don't do it b'simcha v'tuv levav, you don't do it with happiness and gladness of heart, it's almost as if you didn't do it at all. And terrible things are said. Maimonides, the Rambam, that great Jewish philosopher of the 12th century, said that simcha is avodah gdolah. It's a great service of God. So today we want to speak a little bit about the importance of joy and what joy brings to the table. Why does the Torah, why does Judaism put so much emphasis on joy? Let's start with something very, very practical. You know, Rabbi Shneur Zalman of Liadi, the Alter Rebbe, the first Rebbe of the Chabad movement, in his magnum opus, the Tanya, he speaks about the internal battle which each and every one of us has to fight every day. And he explains that it's lo keta'ut ha'olam, it's not the way people think, that there's only one force within a person. So on the contrary, there are two forces in a person. There is a nefesh elokit, there's a godly soul, but nefesh habamit, but there's also an animal soul. And these two souls are in constant argument, fight, and war with each other over dominion of the body. Now the Alter Rebbe says something very interesting. The Alter Rebbe says that even when one is stronger than the other, but it's lacking in chayus, it's lacking in enthusiasm, it's lacking in energy, it will not win. And this is just like it is if you have two people wrestling with each other. One may be very strong, the other one may not be so strong. But if the person is not physically strong, is full of energy, he's full of life, he's on the go, whereas a person who's strong is tired, he's deadbeat, he's sad, the weaker person will overpower the stronger person. The only way to have energy, the only way to have enthusiasm is through joy. We're constantly faced with battles every day of our lives. The story of our lives is to be in battle. That, the Alter Rebbe explains, is what every ordinary person does. Midas kol adam. We're constantly battling within ourselves. To do battle within yourself, you have to have energy. For energy, you have to have joy. So the first reason to be joyful is so that we can win the battles of everyday life. That's number one. Second reason to be joyful is because in Chassidus, in Chassidic philosophy, it explains that simcha poretz geder, that joy breaks down barriers. And you see this. When a person is really happy, even should he be a miser, he's a cheapskate, he doesn't want to spend money on anything. But nevertheless, if he's extraordinarily happy, is one of his children are getting married, some great joy in his life, all of a sudden, when you approach him at that time, would you like to be able to contribute? Would you like to be able to give? The fellow who's normally a miser becomes the man of utmost generosity. What's happened is, he's broken through the barrier. But it's not only barriers within the person's personality, it's more than that. It's also barriers in terms of person-to-person relationships. So that, for example, you have an enemy, you don't talk to the fellow, you can't stand the fellow, but when you're in a state of joy, what you do is, you put your arm around him, you may even give him a kiss, you may give him a hug, because joy breaks down barriers. That's the second advantage of joy. Thank you very much for watching Jewish TV Media. Next time we'll speak about the third advantage of joy.
JewishTV.media